disappointing to lose Nick to a foot injury.
Yeah, it's tough. Just being able to watch that video, and the video, I mean, of him coming back, being able to watch that movie, you know, what he went through to get healthy, just, you know, working as hard as he could just to get back to play. So it's tough to see him go through that, but we all know as running backs, and I definitely know, you know, there's a couple potholes in the road you hit throughout your career, but you keep fighting and you keep bouncing back, and that's the love for the game, and that's what I expect for Nick to come back 100%.
Seeing in Nick the last couple of weeks before the injury, I mean, were you starting to see maybe him rounding the corner and becoming the old Nick Chubb in the way he was running?
Yeah, well, I saw that once he stepped on the field. I mean, day one. And what I mean by that, just being able to come back for those injuries and come back out there and play says a lot about him. It says a lot about the training and the commitment and the time that was put in. But you turn the film on, I get excited when I was turning the film on each and every day throughout practice, and of course in the game. What you saw in the game was him being able to plant his foot, to make cuts. It was slowly but surely starting to come back.
Sometimes guys have major knee injuries, and I know his was a major one. That second season, they get closer to who they were. Could you see that being the case for Nick with another offseason, more time to build up whatever muscles, whatever he needs to do to get maybe that explosion that he didn't have that he used to have?
You know, it's very easy for us to say that right now, and when you go and look at the film, he didn't have an opportunity to show it. So before we be so judgmental on that part, let's give him an opportunity to see if he had the explosion. I think he has it. I think it's still there. And hopefully those opportunities will show themselves next year.
So it's Jerome, obviously probably getting more of a workload now. He had that big run Sunday. He's been great in the kick return game. What makes Jerome so effective for you guys?
I mean, Jerome is, besides the speed, besides the quickness that he has, just being able to play all three downs, and of course the special teams value is really good. And, you know, I didn't know Jerome was a kickoff returner until I got here. I knew what type of back he was, but just being able to show his skills on kickoff return is really good for me to see that he's able to take it and go the distance. Had a couple chances there where he could have broke a couple, and I get on him about it. Hey, man, you're slowing down or something like that. I always mention that to him, but having that opportunity to get out there on kickoff return and being able to show those skills is really good.
He had that hamstring injury earlier in the season. How much did that sort of linger once he even got back out there? And how much are we starting, again, kind of the last couple of weeks, you're starting to really see some explosion out, it seemed like, out of him, the Pittsburgh game, even going back to Denver, I think.
Yeah, he really never talked about it after he got healthy. So, of course, I ain't going to bring it up, you know. He just went to work. And he went out there and just, you know, continued to be Jerome and show the speed and the urgency and the quickness that he's had around here for a while.
Dealing with this, we haven't seen him since the injury. You know, just the back-to-back season enders. How's he handling it?
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, like I said, just being able to put in all that work, all the time that's dedicated. You know, Nick is a passionate guy. He loves the game. He loves being around his teammates. He loves everything that comes along with the game, from practice to preparation, preparing, watching film, putting together a plan. So, you know, right now, of course, as anyone would be, with, you know, anything that you're passionate about, it hurts.
The fact that this is a bone which is going to heal and
I'm sorry.
The fact that Nick suffered a broken bone which is going to heal in a timely fashion. Do you think just from a psychological, mental standpoint, that makes this recovery so much easier for him than what he had to go through with the knee?
I don't know. It's an injury. You know, you put them in a box after a while, no matter how small, how big they are. You're just trying to avoid them. So as much as you can avoid the injuries, you would like to, of course, but sometimes they come in groves.
Is that what happened? Or
I can't
really
remember.
Sure?
Yeah.
Defense, They haven't had Logan Wilson the last few weeks. How much of an impact has that made on them? Because he's a guy that he's around the football quite a bit when he's on the field.
Yeah, he is, and he's helped that defense. The mentality, the energy, the juice that's on the field. They play hard. This is a hard-playing defense, and especially with him out there. So we got our work cut out to make sure we know where he's at all times.
Nick's injury create an opportunity now for Dante Foreman to get back in the mix? And how has he kind of handled this stretch where he's been inactive?
Foreman has been good, man. Of course, another passionate guy that's in the room that loves football, that loved the opportunity to get out there and show his skills. Those weeks that he was not out there, I had a chance to speak with them and just talk with them and, continue to encourage and motivate. And he's been great, man. So now that his opportunity is back, he'll take full advantage of it.
So many pieces of the run game. How would you characterize how it's been this year? I know the numbers aren't probably what you guys wanted.
You said so many pieces?
Yeah, to the run game.
Yeah.
So it's not just the backs, but I'm saying overall, the run game probably hasn't been what you guys hoped it would be. Why do you think you haven't had that success?
I mean, it's a number of things. It's all of us. And, of course, I start with my room. So I can't point the finger or speak of another room without talking about mine. It's a lot of things we got to clean up, and we are getting better in the run game, but of course we're not where we want to be.
Myles go down last week. What was kind of going through your head?
Probably the same thing that was going through everybody's head. My heart stopped a little bit, but anytime you have one of the best players in the National Football League go down, there's going to be a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of just anxiousness, like, hey, what happened? How's he doing? But the minute I saw him spring up, I was figuring, okay, he's at least okay. He can walk off. So, that place, it stinks, getting poked in the eye. It's happened to me before, and that's just kind of part of the game where, a guy, you got two guys battling, two great veterans, good players, they're battling each other, and things like that happen sometimes.
Help you guys as a defense and probably as a whole team that your best player on defense is really setting the tone for playing as hard as possible throughout this home stretch when the playoffs are not on the line.
Yeah, we had talked about this before, and we're always talking about our why. What are we doing here? Why are we doing what we're doing? I always believe that men are much better when they have purpose, and guys like Myles, he always has purpose. Whether it's being the best player on the field, getting sacks, helping his team win. The guy goes out there with a sense of purpose. So just getting those guys to rally around that. Everybody in that room has a lot of pride, and we're not just gonna come in at any game and just lay it down. We're guys that have a lot of pride. We're a bunch of football players that know how to play this game and play it well. And for whatever reason, we haven't done that this year as far as collectively as a group. So that doesn't mean that we stop playing. It doesn't mean that we stop playing. We got to go out there and compete every play until the last whistle, and whatever happens from there.
You got a mic last week, getting back on the field.
It was just good to see him just still be explosive, still be physical, violent. It was great to see him make that tackle for loss, and just, you could tell like he was just itching to make a play. And he's just worked so hard. There's been a long year from Mike, the different things that he's had to go through. And I'm actually really, really happy and proud of the kid that, he's gone through a little bit of adversity, coming into the league. It's already tough enough as it is being a rookie in the NFL, but then having to go through all these little adversities and bounce back from that, it's really telling of the type of man that he is and the type of character that he has and his work ethic. So I was really happy to see what he did out there, making a couple plays and just getting back to himself as far as a rusher is concerned. I'm expecting real big things from him this week.
Look at Myles' career, like he's just had so much success against the Bengals. I mean, I know it's your first year here, but what do you think kind of goes into having that much success sack-wise against one opponent?
I think just Myles, just generally, just against the AFC North, he just has a lot of success. You going up against these guys twice a year, there's familiarity and obviously there's pride in the conference, and there's pride in going up against guys that know you and you know them really well. So, I mean, I just think Myles he approaches every team the same way, but I think there's just a little bit more just oomph when he has to play against the AFC North.
Myles shown you, I mean, now the eye, and he's dealing with the back and the feet earlier in the year. He had a whole bunch of stuff he's dealing with, but he hasn't missed any time. He's still playing at a really high level. So what's he shown you by playing through all that?
It just resiliency. It just the type of player that he is. You know, I mean, he still works hard every day. You know, for a player that you go out, there's not a lot of players in this world that can say every time I take a snap, I got 4 hands on me, no matter what, and he's still fighting through. You know, me and him we had a little laugh the other day because there's this one great shot of just him just fighting as much as he can through 2 people, and I mean that's just Myles. You know, he never complains. He just goes out there and does his job and does it at an extremely high level. And honestly, I joked with him. I was like, I'm going to just bait all the offense coordinators out there. I dare you not to chip him anymore, okay? Because, you know, you got a guy out there that's getting hit every single time by 2, sometimes 3 people, and he's still going as hard as he can. I mean, that's how much he loves the game. That's how much he has pride in himself and his unit and how hard he wants to play for this city. So, you know, it's been an honor to coach a guy like that. You know, a great player like that.
It's not always just 2 guys, right? What's the most extreme thing you've seen as teams try to slow him down?
Yeah, I've seen a chip, which is the tight end punching the defensive end, right? So I've seen a chip with the tackle, so that's the double team, with a back coming up and chipping him as well, with the center slide coming his way. So now you got potential 1, 2, 3, 4 guys that potentially can hit you at one you know, on one play. And like I said, he never complains about it. You know, he might move to the other side, they're still gonna follow him over there. But he never complains. He just keeps trying to rush as much as he can. He'll come out, hey, what he's seeing out there, anything else that I can do, you know, and just say, hey, we can move you inside, we can move you on the other side, you know. They're still gonna try and find him because he's that dangerous of a player. And you know, I'm happy for him. I really believe that I'm just happy that I get to be a part, hopefully, of him getting 100 sacks, you know.
Is all the double teaming and the chipping and all that kind of stuff that much different than what J.J. Watt saw and all the great pass rushers in this league see?
I mean, it's a different scheme, you know, what J.J. played in, so he was a little bit more inside than outside. And, you know, the chips have really gone up the last couple of years. You know, it was 10 years ago, you didn't see this many chips. You know, it was, you might chip one elite rusher here and there on 3rd down. Now you're seeing it on 2nd down, sometimes 1st down, anytime they pass the ball. So, you know, kudos to the offensive coordinators out there that just say, hey, you know, we're just going to protect up and help this tackle out because, you know, he's a special player. He really is. He's a generational talent. Sometimes I can't believe some of the things he does out there. And, you know, you're talking about a man that picks up 320-pound men and throws them off their feet almost on a daily occasion. So you have to commit 2 to 3 people to him at all times.
Is there a way to alleviate that? I mean, get you know, somebody, you know, Obo or Isaiah come and getting more pressure from the other side.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, and as you look at it, those guys are getting pressure now. You know, another thing that a lot of offenses are doing is they got the chips, and now the ball's coming out a lot quicker. So yeah, it's just a matter of the other guys on the other side getting more pressure and really working. And sometimes you're seeing double chip nowadays. So it's just, you know, as a pass rusher now in this league, you really, really have to work your butt off because, you know, as you can see, you know, the leading sacker in the NFL has 12.5 sacks. You know, Myles is at 11. So that just tells you right there, it's all over the NFL. All the pass rushers now, you're starting to see they're getting chipped too. Not as much as Myles, but a lot of guys are starting to get that Myles plan where now they're getting chipped and they're taking out that number 1 pass rusher and getting the ball out.
a quarterback in Mahomes a week ago who's very difficult to, you know, I know he's being sacked a career high, but he's very good at eluding pressure and everything. Mm. Now you're facing Burrow, who has been sacked a lot, but also can get. What is his strengths in terms of trying to avoid pressure.
Yeah, I mean, what I've noticed this year about Burrow, he does a really good job in the pocket, and it's just real subtle movements to get away from the rush. You know, last week you watched that Tennessee Titans game. Like, I mean, he did a really nice job of just stepping up, stepping out, really just ducking, and just really trying to avoid the rush. So, you know, that's a guy that you have to have multiple hits on him. You got to have multiple guys coming at him at the same time, and you really have to just collapse the pocket so he can't go anywhere. But he's been doing a good job of scrambling this year. He looks a lot quicker, and his eyes are focused downfield, so he's always finding receivers. And obviously with a talent like, you know, Chase and Higgins and Brown in the backfield and Gesicki, you know, our guys in the back end, they got to do a great job of covering. We got to do a great job of rushing. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.